The funny thing is that my parents still tell people they don't know why I stopped helping the family. According to them, everything happened so suddenly. What they leave out is that they spent nearly 20 years teaching me that my sacrifices were expected, and my brother's mistakes were everyone else's responsibility. And eventually I got tired of paying the bill. My name is Ethan, I'm 26 years old, and for most of my life I was the responsible child. My older brother, Ryan, was the complete opposite. If Ryan crashed a car, my parents said he was going through a difficult phase. If Ryan failed a class, they said the teacher was unfair. If Ryan quit another job after 2 weeks, they said he was still finding himself. Meanwhile, I was expected to get perfect grades, stay out of trouble, and never ask for anything. Growing up, I believed things would eventually become fair. I thought my parents would notice the difference between us. I thought hard work would matter. I was wrong. When I was 17, I learned that my parents had been saving money for our college education for years. The fund wasn't huge, but it was enough to help significantly with tuition. Knowing that gave me peace of mind. I worked hard in school and earned admission to a good university. I remember being excited when acceptance letters arrived. I thought my future was finally beginning. Then a month before enrollment, my parents sat me down at the kitchen table. My mother's eyes looked nervous. My father couldn't even look directly at me. That's when they told me the truth. Ryan had accumulated massive debt. Credit cards, personal loans, money borrowed from friends. Apparently, he had spent years living far beyond his means. Instead of forcing him to face the consequences, my parents decided to rescue him, using my college fund. Every single dollar. I stared at them, convinced I had misunderstood. When I asked what I was supposed to do about tuition, my father shrugged. "You can take student loans." Then my mother said something I will never forget. "Family sacrifices for family. Family sacrifices for family." Funny how that phrase only ever applied to me. Not Ryan, never Ryan. I ended up taking loans and working part-time throughout college. While I was juggling classes and jobs, Ryan continued making bad decisions. My parents kept bailing him out. Every time. Graduation came, I got a decent job. I moved into a small apartment. I started rebuilding my life. And despite everything, I still tried maintaining a relationship with my family. But the pattern never changed. Every holiday became another conversation about Ryan's problems, another request for money, another expectation that I would help. The final straw happened 3 years later. Ryan wanted to start a business. He had no experience, no plan, and no savings, yet somehow my parents believed it was a brilliant opportunity. One evening, they invited me over for dinner. Halfway through the meal, my father casually suggested that I invest $20,000. I laughed because I genuinely thought he was joking. He wasn't. When I refused, the guilt trip started immediately. My mother reminded me that family should support each other. My father said Ryan deserved a second chance. I pointed out that Ryan was already on his 15th second chance. The room went silent. Then Ryan exploded. He accused me of being selfish, entitled, jealous. The irony was almost impressive. I stood up and looked around the table. For the first time in my life, I said exactly what I was thinking. I reminded them about the college fund. I reminded them about every sacrifice they had demanded from me. I reminded them that supporting Ryan had become the family's full-time job. Then I told them I was done. No more money. No more bailouts. No more being treated like an emergency savings account. And then I left. For nearly 2 years, contact was minimal. Life became peaceful. I paid down my student loans, advanced in my career. Eventually bought a house. The same dream that had become harder because my college fund disappeared. Then one afternoon my phone rang. It was my father. His voice sounded older than I remembered. The situation was serious. Ryan's business had failed exactly the way everyone except my parents expected. He owed money everywhere. My parents had mortgaged their home trying to save him. Now they were facing foreclosure. They needed financial help. As I listened, I realized something. For the first time ever, the consequences had finally reached them. My father finished explaining and quietly asked if I could help. There was a long silence. Then I gave the same advice they had given me years earlier. "You can take a loan." The silence on the other end was immediate. I wasn't trying to be cruel. I was simply returning the lesson they taught me. Adults are responsible for their own choices. Eventually, my father whispered, "I understand." We ended the call. That was 8 months ago. They managed to avoid foreclosure by selling the house and downsizing. Ryan moved into a tiny apartment. For once, nobody rescued him, and something unexpected happened. My parents finally stopped asking me for money. Recently, my mother admitted they had spent years protecting Ryan from consequences while expecting me to absorb every burden. It wasn't a perfect apology, but it was the first honest thing I'd heard from them in a long time. The best revenge wasn't making them suffer. It was refusing to keep suffering for them. The moment I stopped sacrificing my future to protect someone else's mistakes, my life finally became my own. And honestly, that's worth more than every dollar they ever took from me.